Hi, it's Arcadia, your screen time squad mate. Welcome to Infinite Halls, where we explore the endless twists and turns of parenting in the digital age. The guilt, the joy, and the completely unexpected. I'm a former video game exec and a mom who's lived the screen time battle from every angle. Around here, there's no judgment, just real stories and deeper understanding. Today, I'm joined by Shalini Melwani, founder of Parenting Empowered, a certified instructor in the Gordon Parenting Effectiveness Training Curriculum, an ADHD parent coach, and a longtime advocate for families here in Hong Kong and infinite screen time. This conversation is part of a special interview series I call Expert Corners, a space for voices that truly need to be heard, especially in the noise around parenting and technology. What I love about Shalini is this. She doesn't start with rules. She starts with relationship. This conversation is about what we think we're supposed to worry about and what actually really matters. I'm so excited to have you. You are my first guest here on Expert Corners.
Thank you so much for having me, Arcadia. It's so exciting to be here and be your first guest.
We've been working together for quite a long time. I almost want to say 5 years. And the first moment I met you, it was almost like two kindred spirits coming together, not only because of the mission of what we were doing, but you have older kids than I do. So you became a mentor to me about like the way that I was raising my kids.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Yeah, no, I think you really need that, right? Like people who've gone through the jungle before you.
If you think we did it in the right way.
There is no right way, is what I realized.
No, there's no right way.
There's only your own way, right?
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. You just want to bring up these people, send them out into the world.
Yeah. Okay, so the philosophy that you have imbibed in me, which became the way that I raised my kids, or with that vision of them as a parent ahead of me, was so important. But before we get into all of that, because it's so good, I would love for you to talk about who you are, what you do, what kind of families come to you for help. Just give me a little background.
Okay, my name is Shalini. I have 3 kids, all adults, 39, 34, and 27. My older 2 were very mainstream, I thought, and I thought I was doing a great job as a mom. If I said sit, they sat. If I said no, they were like, why? And then they did it. And so, it was just pretty easy. And then my third one comes along and no meant nothing. And if I said sit, he stood. And so he was the one who taught me about life. He was diagnosed with ADHD and he had a lot of anxiety. So it was a roller coaster ride through Hong Kong schools. But through all my knowledge, research, and meeting experts and people to help me with learning about these challenges, I fell into a parent effectiveness training class, which changed our lives. It taught me that, children are people too. And they're in the process of becoming. They deserve to be spoken to with respect. Now, kids with ADHD tend to demand a lot of respect because they demand answers. They don't just do things because you said so. I realized maybe I wasn't parenting the right way with my older 2, and I could do it more effectively and better and form closer relationships with my kids. And so that became my goal, was to form strong relationships with my kids in order to move them forward towards my value system. And even if they move away from my value system, that's okay. It's embedded in them. And so the main thing is to have that strong relationship, because to me, parenting is 80% connection and 20% guidance. The more connected you are to your kids, the easier it is to guide them.
I'm going to have to stop you for a second there. You said, can you say that again? The 80%, 20%? Because I think that's it's such gold.
Yeah. So parenting is 80% connection and 20% guidance. When parents use science-backed communication skills with their kids, which are quite simple, things like listening, collaborative problem solving, things we use in the workplace, or with friends, the connection gets strong.
Mhm.
And then all of a sudden you'll say, it's time to sit at the table for dinner. And they'll be like, okay, mom,
Mhm.
instead of 1 minute, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes. It's just so much easier to guide them when you have that respectful communication. Kids just want to be respected.
Mhm.
And so, anyway, long story short, my journey from being high end marketing for 17 years, focusing on my three kids, learning everything I did, I decided that I really want to help other families gain closer connections with their kids and have better relationships. So I trained to be a certified parent effectiveness training teacher. And then I trained to be an ADHD coach. So I work with families who want a closer connection with their kids, like I said, or who have kids with ADHD and they want to learn strategies, help these kids through these challenges. And so yeah, so that's me. That's basically what I've been doing for the last 14 years.
Yeah, I would assume in your 14 years, there's a lot of different changes for the concerns around parenting. And the original reason why we had connected was because screens would constantly come up in every
Yes.
single one of your training sessions. And parents would be
Yes.
talking about that as their number one challenge. When screens come up, what do you see that parents are actually afraid of?
I think that's still the biggest challenge. They're afraid of addiction. They're afraid of kids meeting the wrong people online, the social media. They're afraid of losing family time. The kids become more introverted. They don't want to go out and see their friends. They don't want to go out and play in the playground. They're not doing so many sports. And so that's an extreme, right? If you see your child just sitting in his room or his or her room all day on video games, talking to strangers, that needs an intervention. I love getting families when the kids are young because then they can, again, it's connection. So it's a matter of what are your kids doing and having conversations about that. And the easiest way to get through to your kids is actually by showing interest in what they're interested in.
Mhm.
Parents say, these kids are addicted to their screens. And I'm like, well, the screens aren't going anywhere, right? Because everything is done on a screen, whether it be your homework or communicating with people, everything can be done on your phone. So between the phone and the computer, TV, video games, everything today is on the screen.
Yeah.
We have to make friends with the screen. It will give them a healthy relationship with the screen and a healthy balance. And so if we look at it that way, then it's like a healthy relationship with eating or a healthy relationship with anything. And we have to have a healthy relationship with the screen as well. And so I don't think parents need to be scared of the screens. I think that they need to also understand that's not going anywhere. And we have to teach the kids how to balance their time in a healthy way.
Mhm. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a great point.
Yeah.
Understanding how to make friends with it so that it's not
Yeah.
demonized.
When you say no, the more they want it,
Mhm.
right?
I mean, I've
And
done that
so,
myself, like where my brain starts to catastrophize.
yes.
I caught them doing something I told them not to do, and then my brain goes into, oh my God, they're gonna be addicted to drugs in an alley somewhere. Like I literally,
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
it'll happen.
Exactly.
It'll happen from one small infraction. I was explaining, mom's job is to worry. I can't help it. I just cannot.
They're not going to get that until they're parents. We've all been through it. It goes generation to generation. Unfortunately, now there's just so much happening around us. And so, yeah, every parent I meet, 99%, one of their biggest challenges is the screen.
Yeah. It's changed every corner of our kids' lives, our lives. In our conversation before, you said something that stuck with me. A kid cannot be not reading books and still learning a ton. What helped you to reframe that as a parent and as a coach?
I saw that with my third child.
Okay.
He never read books in school, but he knew everything. For me, it's all about a physical. I'm different generation, right? So
Right.
it's about a physical newspaper, physical book. How are you going to know what's happening in the world? But he knew more than I did about everything happening all over the world. Every country, every politician, everything that was going on, whether it has to do with finance, politics, science, math. And so everything really is on your phone, in the screen, on YouTube videos. I'm not saying that it's okay that your kids don't read, because of course there's huge benefits to reading. And by the way, he's an avid reader now, and he only wants to read physical books. There's something to be said for reading the classics and all these great things that we're told to read in school. But if your kids aren't brained that way, and it's more about, I want to do it and I want to learn, but this is how I'm going to learn. Maybe we should take the time to see what they're doing, not just say, close that computer right now, because they may be learning something very valuable, right? They could be reading about the news of the world. They could be learning how a car is built. That's healthy, right? So again, it's more like the balance of how much time you want your eyes to be looking at this. Maybe we can move from this from a computer screen to the TV so you have more distance, and it's okay for you to watch YouTube videos on things that are actually healthy, because you can learn from YouTube, but we just have to form that connection so we know what's happening in the kids' lives. And so we know they're doing something healthy and we don't just shut it down. Because I think a lot of parents have it in their mind, if the kids are on a screen, it's not good.
Right.
And that's certainly not true. And that's what I learned with my kids was when I would say, why are you playing these videos now?
Right.
And they'd be like, we're actually watching this car video. What is it about?
Right.
We want them to know these things, because if you look at STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math, some kids go to STEM schools and learn everything they need through these concepts. So traditional school is great for a lot of kids, but for some kids, it's not the way they learn. They can learn everything through these topics.
So you're saying, let's focus on the learning, not the format.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, focus on the learning. Are they learning? Everyone learns differently.
All right. So my next question, let's get practical. When a parent says, my kid only watches YouTube, don't automatically panic. What's your simple filters for whether it's helpful or harmful?
A general rule I've recently learned is that when it comes to timing, right? Because the problem is that the YouTube videos now are like these YouTube shorts. Kids are watching 10-second videos. They'll watch 10 video, or 20 videos within like 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay. And so if you look at their computer screen randomly, you'll see like 5 things opened at one time, and they're watching all these different things. That's not healthy, because this is where there are a lot of kids being diagnosed with ADHD when they really don't have ADHD. Because these kids, by multitasking on the screen and watching these short videos and doing 10 things at one time, you're actually lowering your ability to focus, right? So you're training your brain that we're only going to focus for 10 seconds at a time, which is a terrible thing to do, because it filters into schoolwork, paying attention in the classroom, and everything else we do. That leads to boredom. Like, I'm so bored because I don't have 10 things opened in front of me. So again, let's make friends with the screen. YouTube is okay. We're not taking it away, but you have to watch videos at least 15 minutes long. There are age guidelines. It's like 10, 15, 20 minutes. The younger you are, the longer it should be.
Okay.
I usually say around 15 minutes. If you want to watch something like building a car, get a video that's 15 minutes and then move on to the next one. Make it something long so that you're paying attention. So
Okay.
we don't want to take it away. We want to lengthen these videos, lengthen the shows. If they're watching a cartoon, make it 15 or 20 minutes for young kids, right? We're training them and can have a conversation to let them know why.
That's great.
So the point is to start your conversation off with, I like YouTube too,
Yeah.
right? Let me see what you're watching. I would love to learn. Now let's talk about what's healthy for your brain,
Right.
right? This is the standard rule.
Mhm.
It has to be a lengthy video.
That's great.
So
Especially at
yeah,
a
so
younger age.
at a younger age and even when they get older, because honestly, like it really does affect the training of the focus of the brain. And it is a fact that a lot of kids are being diagnosed. Oh, lack of focus. Okay, you have ADHD, but they don't. They just have these traits because they're overstimulated by videos. The brain goes into overstimulation mode and you can't focus. Parents find it easier to say, turn it off. And a lot of parents don't realize YouTube can be healthy, right? You can find good things on YouTube. And there's nothing wrong with watching cartoons.
We have a rule in my family. We have family movie night once a week. And we have this
Yeah,
rule that's like no double screen. It's a simple thing, but it's held so people are engaged with what they're watching together.
exactly. Yeah,
Wait,
yeah.
in my time working with you, here's a line I love is if your kids are into ants, you're into ants. What does that mean? And how does it connect with your PET, parent effectiveness training approach?
So it basically means what's their love language?
Hmm.
How do you start a conversation with a 2-year-old whose only focus is spiders,
Right.
right? So into spiders. How are you going to get into their world and start a conversation? The more we get into their world, the more they'll listen. We want to show them we're interested in what they're doing because if we show interest when they're 2 and they're interested in spiders, and then we show interest when they're 5 and they're interested in Legos, and then we show interest as they're growing up, then chances are we'll be the ones they come to when they're older. They're going to a party where there may be alcohol because they know we have this connection. They are willing to come to us when they actually have a problem because they know we're not only there to reprimand them, we're there to get into their world. When it comes to screen time, if they're playing video games, what are they playing? Can I play with you? Can I have an avatar so that I
Right.
can see what's going on there? And sure, it might be manipulative from a parent's point of view because are we really interested in that video game or are we just doing it to get into their world? But really, that's a parent's job to get into your
Huh.
teenager's world. So we can talk about the video games, start conversations about a video game, maybe at the dinner table, and then move on to other things like what's happening in academics or in your friends group, and then get them talking about things, you may want to talk about as well. So we say when they're young and interested in spiders, show interest in spiders because you're sparking a conversation. Then they'll be more willing to talk about other things. It's simple and it's their love language. And when they're teenagers, their biggest focus is their friends or screens, right?
Mhm.
That's what they're interested in. That's where their head is. That's what we were interested in as well. Only our friends. What's happening in school? Who's the cute guy? Who's the cute girl? What am I wearing to school?
Right.
When you're 16, that's all that matters.
Yeah. Yeah.
As adults, we have bigger things we think about, but we have to understand their age and stage. They can't be in our stage, they're in their own stage. And so if we can get into that, then they'll be more likely to listen to what we have to say as well.
So these are almost like seeds we're planting at a young age when we're engaging with the things that they enjoy that might sprout
Yeah.
into them reaching out to you in their older age, right?
It's connection. I mean, it's not like we don't want to be a doormat. We don't want to be a submissive parent. We don't want to be a doormat. We don't want to listen to everything our kids say. But we want to know what they're doing and be interested, and they will show interest in what we say.
Mm,
It's a two-way street here.
it's great.
Yeah.
This is like gold. I remember when you taught me that lesson when I first met you, and it was life changing. I feel like our
Right.
relationship changed with my kids. My relationship, the way that they connected with me changed. And you're right; those were seeds that were planted long ago. And
Parents
now,
see a huge shift. Parents see a huge shift the minute they start involving kids in important conversations. Kids feel respected and important
yeah, yeah,
instead of being told what to do. When kids are involved in rule making, they're more likely to stick to the rules.
yes,
So we can ask that, how do you feel about how much time you'll need on the computer on a school day, right? Shifting their mindset, like asking your child, from Monday to Friday, how much video time do you think you really need? How much is appropriate than your school workload? And the child's automatically going to think, wow, why is she asking me this? Now what do I do? I have to figure out how much time on video games because I need to get everything else done. Number one, we're involving them in their rulemaking. Number two, we're setting them up to be independent, good planners when they finally are 18 and most likely move out and go to university,
right,
or whatever they're going to do at 18.
right,
So
right.
we also want to make them independent, capable of making their own rules so that they're disciplined in what they're doing. So there's so much that goes into having your kids be a part of rulemaking,
Yeah.
right?
There's so many gold nuggets in there. If a parent listening right now wants to make a realistic shift, not too extreme, not perfect, what are a few small moves they can start with?
Where it comes to screen time,
Let's start with screen time because it's a very specific idea.
yeah, I think the phrase, how do you feel about this, is a huge shift. It's such a simple phrase, right?
Mm,
And how do you feel about this? It kind of is a little bit of a shocker to the child because we don't generally ask them
right.
those questions. How much time do you need on video games? And then maybe for communicating with your friends. And again, they'll be like, oh, mom realizes or dad realizes that I do need to communicate with my friends after school. So just by showing them that we understand and care about their social life and we care about what they're interested in brings a huge shift to the respect they will show us. So if they say, we need an hour on our video game and an hour with friends, you can say, that sounds like a lot because you need dinner at the table.
Mm,
We need to clear up. You need to get the homework in. So I would say about, 30 to 40 minutes and then go from there. A lot of parenting experts say, don't negotiate with your kids.
mm,
I say, how's that working for you? We don't want to battle with our kids every day.
right.
You asked me the pointers. One would be, how do you feel about this? Involve them in rule making. Actually sit down when you both have time, make lists, put it on the calendar when, they agree to do what, whether it be screen time, whether it be chores at home, if they have stuff to do,
Mm,
homework, things like that. Throw in some time where, you have quality fun time together
mm,
as well.
mm,
And realizing that kids are in the process of becoming. So they're not going to be totally emotionally regulated. They're not going to be so disciplined yet. They're young, their brains are still developing. So if we understand that, then it's easier for us to be a little bit more patient.
mm.
I hope that's helpful.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah.
Last question. Knowing what you do now and your experience as a family coach, what is that one thing that you could tell your younger self as a mom?
I would say to have done my parent effectiveness training course before I had my first child. I was brought up by a strict mom. When she told me to do something, there was no questioning. It was because I said so.
Mhm.
That's how I started my parenting journey. I was a little bit more lenient, but still, I said to do it, so you're going to do it.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. Yeah, thank you so much for this conversation and also just doing what you do. The parent effectiveness training. I think that there's some really strong, long lasting principles that really, I mean, it doesn't change no matter what the new thing that's coming down the pipe. It's steady.
It's understanding that kids are people too. They need respect, and to understand that when they're young and they're curious, we don't want to shut that down. We want them to be curious their whole lives. So why shut down writing on the wall, guide them to write on big posters instead of getting angry? We don't want to do that. We don't realize these kids are born with qualities are actually should be lifelong qualities, right? The ability to keep learning, to always be curious. When you stop being curious, you stop learning, right? And why do you want to stop learning? We don't want to shut them down. We want to guide them instead of shutting them down, right? I think that's a good ending point.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Today's conversation is a reminder that screens aren't automatically the problem. The real question is what the screen is doing to attention, to learning, and to connection. Because when a kid is deeply interested, they're not just passing time, they're building a mind. And our job isn't to control every click. It's to stay close enough to guide. This podcast is a project of Infinite Screen Time, the organization I founded in 2020 to help raise screen-smart kids while embracing the infinite possibilities of technology. The goal isn't answers, it's understanding. If this episode spoke to you, I'd love to hear from you. Email me at akim@infinitescreentime.com or use the link in the description to learn more. Until next time, I'll see you around the infinite halls.